Sports Corner. My name is Ralph Williams. It's great to be here tonight, and we're thankful to be here tonight for a special edition here tonight because we have the all baseball's All Star game going on. They're getting ready to do the national anthem right now. Score is nothing, nothing. Yeah, you gotta love it, don't you? And tonight we are broadcasting live from, as usual, from 808 Studios here in the Allentown section of the city of Pittsburgh. I'm waiting for my guest Clayton Schroeder to come on. Clayton is a author of a book in regards to Atlanta, Georgia sports that he wrote this year. Um, he's due on here any moment. He's running late as well, so we will be having him on shortly. And if you notice as well, we have a new background screen here, which is tremendous. So I want to thank the folks that helped me put this up tonight. This background screen, it's great to have it here to make the broadcast look a little bit better. And as soon as I get some other things together, it's going to happen. Your comments are always welcome tonight as well. And don't forget to tune in to Sports Corner every Saturday at 5 p.m. with myself and Smoking Jim Frazier. 5 p.m. Saturday, PCTV Channel 21 Comcast, 47 Verizon Cable, and on Pittsburgh Community Television, PCTV's Facebook page. We have a lot to talk about, as we always do on this program. So let's get started. And I want to talk tonight, and part of my Ralph's rant, as you know, on both of my shows, this one and on The Way I See It on Monday night, I do a Ralph's rant. Well, my rant tonight is this. Everybody is up in arms about Acrisure Stadium. Really? Acrisure Stadium. We're going to get up in arms in Pittsburgh. We're so frustrated because the Rooneys went ahead and decided that we're going to, change the name of the field. Okay, let me go into this one more time with you because I don't, I really don't like repeating myself, but it seems like lately I've had to do that quite a lot. And the reason why is because it seems like people in this town are dense. They just don't seem to get the idea that we are going into a new stadium name called Acrisure Stadium from Michigan. Oh, it's from Michigan. Oh, it's not Pittsburgh. It's about money. It's about money. Art Rooney II took the biggest amount of money he could get for a sponsor for the stadium, and he took it, and he ran with it. He's a businessman, just like everybody else, okay? And I've used this analogy many times, and the reason I've used this analogy many times is maybe you understand what I'm trying to say. If someone called me tomorrow, said, Ralph, I want you to do every show, your TV show, your 2 podcasts, I want you to do them naked, and I'll give you $1 million. I'll take it, okay? That is where we are today in society. It's all across the board. Sports is a business, okay? The Steelers are a business. What I do here is a business, okay? And I learned that from Claudio Rosano, all right? His book is out. You need to go get it. It's at the Barnes & Noble in Robinson and also Morgan Publications and on his website, ClaudioRosano.com. Think from the neck up, or the heart up, not the neck up. All right? Because that's exactly what he says in there. Your family is your business. Okay? My business is my wife, my family, okay? And my shows. That's my business. All right? So Art Rooney II has a family business. He's not good at running. We all know that. And I'm going to echo the sentiments of my good friend and co-host on my TV version of Sports Corner, Smoking Jim Frazier, and Al Levine, the talking machine, who has Pittsburgh Sports Line on Bethel Park TV. Okay, said the same thing. Art Rooney II don't even like sports. He's nothing but a lawyer, or was a lawyer, and now he's running the family business. Okay. And now there's things out there where they're saying, well, the family business now is going to wind up becoming, once he leaves, going somewhere else. Okay. And then the Pittsburgh people are going to say, well, if Pittsburgh, let's just say, for instance, this happens, because Smoke and Jim said tonight on Pittsburgh Sports Line, which I just got done watching before I came on the air here. Okay. And we're live on YouTube and Facebook, as we always are. And your comments are welcome, as they always are as well, every Tuesday night here at 8 p.m. All right, even when there's a baseball all-star game going on, and there's probably a chance, and you know what, of anyone watching my show tonight. But you always can catch the archive edition on, on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe, by the way, as well. So I'm getting more and more subscribers, which is great. It's tremendous. I really appreciate the support. But let me get back to this, okay? If Art Rooney II were to be done with the Steelers, or was to pass, or whatever, do you think the Steelers would be out of town? That they would leave? Okay, and then you're going to say, well, I know whatever city they're in, I'm still going to call them the Pittsburgh Steelers. Really? I'm still going to call Acrisure Stadium Heinz Field. Really? I'm going to call Heinz Field Three River Stadium. Really? But that's what we do in Pittsburgh. We changed the Civic Arena to Mellon Arena, and look what happened. I'm still going to call it Civic Arena. Luke Ravenstall tried to change two community names. He tried to change East Liberty to East Side, and he tried to change North Side to North Shore. I'm still going to call it North Side. I'm still going to call it East Liberty. Okay? Do you catch what I'm saying? That's what we do here. All right? I drove a cab many years ago. Okay? And the Ramada Hotel downtown was once the Carlton House Apartments. I had people still calling it the Carlton House Apartments. People still call PPG Paints Arena Console Energy Center. All right? Get used to Acrisure Stadium, everybody, because that's what the new Steeler and Pitt Panther Stadium is now. The question is, can Bill Hillgrove get it? Okay? That's going to be the question. Because as you know, and if you don't, he's the play-by-play guy for both the Pitt and Steeler football. All right? Next week, I'm working on trying to get somebody on to talk about the latest things that are going on with the Penguins. We'll talk about that later. And also the Pirates. Today, the Pirates had the third day of the Major League Baseball draft. And I'm told, from what I understand from a source of mine, that of the 10 players they drafted today, 8 of them were pitchers. They're stockpiling pitchers. We're going to talk about that later on as well. Okay? Now, I'm still waiting for Clayton TRUTOR to come on. He's the Atlanta author of the Atlanta Sports. Okay, well. Hang on a minute. Okay. We're having a little technical issue, and that's why Clayton's having trouble getting on. So let me find out what we are going to do about that here. So, but anyway, getting back to what I was talking about, the Steelers are getting ready for training camp next week. And the reason I'm saying this is because it is a true case that training camp is coming up, and that they are beginning to get ready for it. There are several positions up for grabs. The two main key ones are defensive line and the quarterback position. Offensive line, they pretty much have a pretty good idea who they're going to carry on their 53-man roster. All right? And they're even talking about now going into a trade that they're trying to work out with the Jets to get an offensive lineman from the Jets. They're working on that, and that's Micaiah Becton. Okay? Malachi Becton. All right, big guy. I saw a picture of him. Okay, all right. I'm trying to for Monday to get someone from the Latrobe Chamber of Commerce on my show next Monday at 8 o'clock or 7 p.m. on the way I see it to talk about Latrobe's economy because the Steelers are back. And Latrobe's economy, just like everyone else's, has basically you know had issues with everything because of COVID, which of course, and then the Steelers and the NFL decided that they weren't going to, because it wasn't safe, to have training camp at their normal training camp sites until this year. They decided that they're going to try to do it, and they had it at Acrisure Stadium and at the Southside facility. All right. Well, now they're back. Everybody's got their vacation plans made. Everybody bases their vacation on the Steeler training camp. And they base it on that to go get autographs, to watch them practice. Me, I don't personally want to sit out in the sun and watch anything like that. All right. That's like watching paint dry. All right. If they aired it on TV, maybe I might watch it if there's nothing on. Okay. But I don't have no interest in watching that at all. All right. Especially sitting out in the hot heat in the dead of summer trying to watch that as well. All right. But that's what's going on with Steelers right now. There's going to be some camp battles. All right. They've got a lot of strong safeties this year, cornerbacks on the roster. Who's going to go? Who's going to do what? You know, Omar Khan has $21 million left to play with under the cap. So is Omar Khan going to go out and get a few more people to come in and fill in some blanks? Maybe. All the draft picks, so far as I know, are probably going to be able to hang on a second here. All right, are going to be able to do their thing as far as hang on a minute. So they're going to be able to do these position battles, and also the backup outside linebacker position for Highsmith and for Alex Highsmith and T.J. Watt is also going to be a something of concern. And the Steelers are going to. I think the Steelers are going to sit and they're going to play the waiting game. They're going to wait till after training camp. People release veterans that they got rookies that they're doing, or they got draft picks that they drafted. They have guys that have salaries for too high, and the Steelers are good at bringing in free agents on the cheap. And I hope that they bring them in on the cheap. It would be beautiful if they did. Okay. Clayton TRUTOR just emailed me, and he's having issues trying to get on. So as soon as he does, we're going to get him here. He says he's in, but I don't see him on the screen, so I don't know what's going on here. But we're having a little technical problems getting him on. So James Bradley today, Dr. James Bradley was put into the Orthopedic Hall of Fame. He's the orthopedic doctor for the Steelers. He's been around a long time. He's a good doctor. He's good at what he does. And, I go to a orthopedic surgeon who is my orthopedic surgeon. And this gentleman was at one time and does do some work for the Steelers. He's got all kinds of plaques up in his exam rooms from the Steelers and the Penguins. The Pirates, not so much, because AGH handles the Pirates. My orthopedic surgeon is through UPMC. And getting back to my rant earlier in regards to Acrisure Stadium, there were people out here, and I talked about this last week, about how there were people out here that were frustrated because UPMC didn't put their name on this. Well, you know what? The reason why UPMC didn't put their name on this is because UPMC has their name on all kinds of places now. It's everywhere. UPMC is all over the place. All right. I was in Erie recently for my honeymoon. Okay. All right. I know that don't sound much because a lot of you out there go to the Bahamas, go to places like that. I refuse to fly nowadays after what's my bad experience with TSA when I had to go to Raleigh to attend to my late aunt's affairs. Okay. From now on, if I go anywhere, it's either by my vehicle or I don't go. All right. Because I didn't appreciate the way TSA treated me at the airport and was at Pittsburgh International. Not so much Raleigh, but it was Pittsburgh International. But anyway, I was in Erie, okay, and there's a UPMC hospital there. Their name is on Robert Morris's facility, their basketball facility. Their name is on Duquesne's new or upgraded basketball facility, remodeled, used to be known as AJ Palumbo Center. Okay. So there we are. That's why UPMC could not do Acrisure Stadium. Acrisure had to do it. Dan Rooney or Art Rooney II had to take the best deal he got. And it was $150 million over 10 years. I would have took that in a minute. Okay. Hines was only willing to do $57 million for 10 years. That's chump change compared to what was going on with Acrisure. Okay. So there we are with that. And Clayton's having some technical issues getting on. So we're going to try to work on having him on another time. Hang on a minute. Let me get back to him on this because he's having issues getting in and I don't know why. But, so. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's talk about the Pirates a little bit. The Pirates just had the draft. They are, as I mentioned today, they just went through the third day of the Major League Baseball draft as well. And so let's talk about that. Their record right now before the All-Star break was 39-54. Last 10 games, they were 5-5. Okay. I'll tell you this, the Pirates really are not doing bad. And I know what you're saying. Oh, I don't trust the Pirates. They stink. I don't like them. And this is another story too that is kind of getting old with me a little bit. Basically, as far as I can see, we can basically say that the Pirates should not have a bad season this year. As far as like after the All-Star break, they do that every time. For some strange reason, after the All-Star break, they seem to lay an egg. And I don't know why. I mean, they lose a ton of games, things like that. The season completely goes flop. I don't know what's going on, but all I can say is, so hang on one second here. I don't know what's going on here. Clayton's telling me he's on, but I can't seem to get him in here. So let me look and see what we can work with here. All right. I'm working on trying to get him in here. And we're having some technical issues. So let me see where he's at. Okay. All right. I don't know. Why is his face not popping up on here? That's strange. Weird. That's strange. He claims he's in the waiting room, but I can't get him out. Interesting. I've never had this happen to me before. I don't know what's going on here tonight. So there's a few things that, but I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. I'll try to work it out on my end here, but it's hard to do when you're trying to do your show here as far as it goes. And, but anyway, that's the issue there. And, I got to get this out of here because I didn't want this here. And I got this other screen. So anyway, let me get that out. So, all right, we're all set as far as that goes. But I don't understand why I can't get him in here. That's weird. He says he's in the waiting room, but I don't see him here, and I don't see the waiting room. So I don't know why that is the case, and I'm trying to find out what I could do to fix it, but I can't fix it. So here we are. Um, you know, that's the way we're going to have to work it for tonight. No Clayton Trutor. Last night I was supposed to have Brian Englert on. The way I see it from the jail guards union, he had to attend a funeral last night, and obviously we're going to get him on. I'm doing a recorded interview with him coming up sometime soon. Kevin Newman. Will Kevin Newman be around at the trade deadline? That's another question I have for everyone out here who's a Pirate fan. And that is, will he be around? I don't think he will. I think the Pirates are looking to trade him and Jose Quintana. You know, they're looking to get some more young players. They're stockpiling their farm system. And, Ben Cherington, when he was with Boston, he stockpiled young players, and they turned them into superstars, and they ended up going to the World Series. He took a Boston Red Sox team and brought them from nothing all the way to the World Series. Okay, so here we are with the Pirates doing the same thing. He has the same blueprint. It worked there, it can work here. Okay, and everyone's out there, I don't trust Bob Nutting. I don't trust Bob Nutting either, but I trust his management base because I've said many times, they're not going to take Bob Nutting's abuse. They said, we'll quit tomorrow. Okay? The only way we're taking this job is you got to stay out of this. The only time we call you is if we need money. And he has. He's let them run it. He's let them go with it. He's let them deal with it. Okay? And that's what everybody has to understand now. Even though there's a trust problem. There's a big problem with trust because of what's happened over the years. And I've said it myself many times. I don't trust Bob Nutting. If he came here, again, knocked on my door, was with a raincoat on, dripping wet, and tells me it's raining outside, I'd have to look. Because I don't trust him. But I do trust this new management base. And I don't know what's going on with that. But, that's what it is. But right now, let's take a look at their first round draft pick, Tumar Johnson. He's a shortstop second baseman. He's from a high school in Mississippi. He was rated number 4 of all the draft picks. And the Pirates had the 4th pick, so they were able to get him. The number 36 pick, which was in the 4th round, they didn't have second, or I don't think they had a second or third round. Thomas Harrington, who happens to be a pitcher out of Campbell. All right, they got him. This was first day now. The next one was Hunter Barco, punter, or I'm sorry, not a punter. Geez, I'm used to saying punter from the University of Florida because I'm used to football with Florida, not baseball. But anyway, those were the ones for day 1. And day 2 picks were they got Jack Brannigan from Notre Dame, a 2-way player. This guy can pitch. Remember John Von Benscoten? Remember him? Yeah, he was a 2-way player. Stunk up the joint. Ended up leaving baseball because he had a bad injury. Couldn't pitch. Was a good player, good bat, everything. Just couldn't pitch. All right. The scout at the time for the Pirates, Mickey White, said he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, which I don't get. You understand what I mean? So let's see what happens with this guy. Maybe he's good at what he does. I don't know. John Von Benscoten wasn't, and that's the honest to God's truth. Michael Kennedy, another pitcher from a high school in New York. They say this guy got a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. He has 4 quality pitches. All right, let's see what he does. Trez Gonzalez, outfielder, Georgia Tech. They say he led the ACC in a bunch of categories. All right. So let's find out what happens with these draft picks and they go through the minor league system. Do we have, they fixed the minor league system this year. Went out and got some brand new coaches, different type of management and coaching and everything in the minor league system. It's been totally revamped for the Pirates. So let's see what they do. Orneal Cruz went back to the minors. All right. So, the Pirates have enough of these young guys. But what I'm angry with them about now is they got bums that are playing on this team. Guys who really aren't doing too much of anything. And Kevin Newman, he shouldn't even be on the team. I mean, injuries are a tough break. I understand. Okay. But the Pirates have to put him out there, everybody, because the reason they have to put him out there is because they want to trade him. So we're going to see what the Pirates do with that. Are they going to trade him? And don't forget also, I want to talk about what the Pirates, they're coming up with their own Hall of Fame. Trying to be like the Steelers, The Steelers have their own Hall of Honor or Hall of Fame. And now the Pirates are doing the same thing. And there's all this big scuttlebutt about who should be the first ballots, for the Hall of Fame. All right. Some people are saying Barry Bonds. Others are saying Doug Drabeck. I've heard. You know what? I don't think Doug Drabeck should be in the Pirates Hall of Fame. And I don't care what kind of Cy Young he did. Because I'm going to tell you this. He had 2 good years when he was here. Okay. And then he beat the Pirates up for money and years. Okay. All right. Then he lied. He told everybody that he wanted to go to Houston because he wanted to see his son's Little League games. Instead of saying, okay, all right, the Pirates are cheap. All right. He didn't say that, or he didn't say, well, the Pirates couldn't come up with the right contract. The late Ted Simmons was our general manager at the time, because I remember it. I had my very first show of Sports Talk with Ralph Williams on PCTV, and I interviewed Joe Walton. But I had a commentary in regards to Doug Drabeck, and I had mentioned about how he was a liar. He lied to the Pittsburgh people. All right. And it's not the first time an athlete or a manager. I was mad at Jim Leyland for a long time. Because Jim Leyland lied. He told everybody he was going to help the Pirates. Then as soon as he heard rebuild, when Kevin McClatchy bought the Pirates, what happened? He walked away. All right. And then he had a World Series team that you and I could have coached or managed. Okay. It was a bought team for him. All right. Jim Leyland's done this a few times. I used to call him the Marlboro Man back in the day. All right. I finally got to meet the man when I was working at Steak and Shake back in 2016. He came through the drive-thru when I worked at the one in Robinson. He came to get a shake. All right. Finally had an opportunity to meet him face to face. Nice guy. Really nice guy. Smart baseball man. Just too bad that he didn't win more World Series. And too bad that it didn't happen here. He had to go to Florida and Detroit and wherever for all these World Series. You see what I mean? So that's the story with the Pirates. Who do you think? Comment section is wide open tonight. Of course, I knew what I was up against anyway. That was one of the reasons I was going to have Clayton Trutor on, because I knew I was up against the All-Star game. And I figure maybe if I had somebody different than, and I've been bringing guys on here from my national contacts, okay? Because the local reporters here and the local, some of the local people who cover some of these professional teams don't seem to want to return my emails and my phone calls. So in order to have a guest on, I have to reach out to my national friends. And you know what? I think that's pretty sad. I think it's classless. But you know what? I'm done talking about the Pittsburgh media. I'm done talking about the newspaper reporters and the people who cover some of these things. I'm Pittsburgh's forgotten son. There's nothing I can do about that. All right. I can't change that. All right. But you ever hear the old saying, he that laughs last laughs best? Well, guess what? I think I'm going to be the one that's going to laugh last. Okay. So there we are. Pitt depends. All right. The Pens made a series of moves. They were busy this week, man. I got to tell you. They not only drafted, but they also, they acquired Jeff Petrie and Ryan Pelling from, uh, from Mike Matheson. All right. They traded with Montreal and Toronto. Traded John Marino to the Devils and got Ty Smith. So, Ron Hextall says, well, we got, better at defense, but they still have to make more trades. They have too many players on the team. They got to shed a few more salaries. There's a few more missing pieces here. And I got to give it to Ron Hextall because I actually thought that after we signed Malkin, we weren't going to do anything more because it looked the way the Penguins presented everything to the fans and to the city was that, oh, well, we're okay. All we need to do is put the band back together and bring back our players and sign them to these contracts, okay, and fit them under the cap, and that's it. But I'll give Ron Hextall credit. He made a ton of moves, okay, a ton, more than I thought he was going to do. And you know why? Because I've been saying this for months. The Fenway Group has deep pockets. They will not hesitate to get rid of management and go out and get some quality guys. This is a feel year. And what I mean by feel year is the Fenway Group is feeling out the organization. They're going to find out who, for instance, if the janitor doesn't fill up the paper towel machine properly in the locker room, he could get fired. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, what I'm saying to you tonight is that the Fenway Group could fire somebody. This is a feel year. They're feeling out the Penguins. They're going to feel out what Ron Hextall and Brian Burke are going to do. And so far, they've done good. Okay? They have done good. So there we are. So Kasperian Kaprizin has decided to file for salary arbitration. Now, here's a guy that we had to give up. We gave up a first-round draft pick for, and you know what? If I'm Ron Hextall, I tell him to take a hike. Because you know why? He wants a new contract, but the contract that we offered him after he was a bum this past year because of injury and some other things, and even when he did play, he was terrible. Okay? And now he wants to take us for salary arbitration because he's pissed off because he's not getting the right contract? Are you kidding me? Are you joking? Kasperson should be gone. Should have tried to trade him, but they didn't. Okay? All right. But these defensemen that they got with these trades, Petrie's an experienced veteran. Matheson was hurt. Matheson wasn't playing real well. It's good to see him move on. John Marino, I kind of question that a little bit because Marino's a really good defenseman. Well, we got this Ty Smith who's supposed to be a little younger and a little bit better. All right. So we'll see where this goes. We'll see if what Ron Hextall does is right, because I'm going to tell you this right now. If the Penguins don't, with the gang back together, at least try to win, or at least win one Stanley Cup within the course of the lifetime of these contracts, somebody's going to be out of a job. And I can tell you that because I know the Fenway Group, with their deep pockets, they're not going to put up with this. All right? The Penguins need to be on notice on this because that's what it is with them. You're watching Sports Corner with Ralph Williams here live on YouTube. We're here every Tuesday night starting at 8 o'clock. I was supposed to have a guest, CLAYTON TRUTOR, on tonight, but unfortunately for him, I'm having issues here, and I don't know if it's me or him. I can't get him up on the screen. He says he's in the waiting room, but I can't get him up on the screen. So I'm in the middle of doing this right now, and I don't know what I need to do to fix that problem. So we'll have to see if we can get him back on next week or another time. All right. Or we'll do a recorded interview with him. I can do that as well. And we'll have him on in the future. So anyway, available former Penguins. Now, here we go. Here, I got a nice list here that you guys will like. Zach Aston Reach, Evan Rodriguez, and Danton Hennon. Well, Danton Hennon, uh, the Pens just didn't sign. Rodriguez was testing the market. Zach Aston Reese as well. Phil Kessel. Here's a name. Here's a blast from the past. Phil Kessel. You know, I found out something very interesting today about Phil Kessel. I didn't know this, but the Penguins, the Coyotes, and Toronto were picking up an old contract of his that he signed long term with Toronto before they traded him. I didn't know this. I really didn't. Okay. But now Kessel's available. Do you want that goof back here? I mean, he was a great player, but Rick Tocchet had to be here to babysit him, and it drove Mike Sullivan crazy. Okay. Then the year that Tocchet left to go to Arizona, he stunk. He was terrible. Why? Because there was no one here to babysit him. Okay, he had to hold his hand. Because he's a goof. He acts like a goof. Okay. All right. Even though he was a great athlete and did what he needed to do for the Pens. But as I said before, the major issue is, can the band being back together bring Stanley Cups? Or are the Penguins going to lay an egg like they do every year and bow out in the first round? We re-signed Casey DeSmith. I thought we should wait and go out and get a goalie. There has to be a decent backup goalie somewhere, and they can't re-sign Louis Dominique because guess who signed him? The Rangers. And you know why? Because the Rangers signed him because the Rangers know what he can do because he beat them. Isn't that interesting, huh? All right. Penguins draft Owen Pickering, Sergei Moronchin. All right. Zan Planty, Nolan Collins, Luke Devlin. That's just to name a few of the guys that they picked. From what I hear from some sources, I think that they told me they believe that the Pens had a good draft. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. All right. All right. Next, Pitt football. Don't forget camp's coming up. Clinton Slovis is coming in. There's a quarterback competition between him. He's a graduate transfer from USC, and Nick Patty. Nick Patty is coming off a shoulder injury from the bowl game against the Fiesta Bowl against Michigan State, which he hurt in the first play of the game. All right. Will Pitt repeat as the Continental Division champions? I think they will. I don't think there's enough talent on any other team. Now, one team to look out for, and I've been reading some stuff on this, is look out for Clemson. Clemson, they say, is back. They bowed out last year to Pitt. So let's see what they do. They didn't have that great of a year last year. Wake Forest had a better year. Okay. Pitt has, a somewhat reasonable schedule. All right. And it starts off with the backyard brawl is back. And that's good. I'm happy about that. And there's rumors going around now because of all this conference shuffling that West Virginia wants to come to the ACC. And that would be great because it would work perfect for them. This Big 12 stuff going all across the country to play games, it just doesn't work. And you know it and I know it. Comments are welcome here. I am Ralph Williams. This is Sports Corner. We're here every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. I know Clayton TRUTOR was supposed to be on tonight, but we're having some kind of technical issues getting him on here. So we're going to work on getting him on another time. All right. So anyway, ESPN analyst has Pitt winning the ACC Coastal Division. All right. And they're either going to play North Carolina or Clemson. All right. That's the prediction so far. 2 weeks to go to training camp. And we're going to find out what Pitt's made of against West Virginia in the first game for Pitt football. Pitt basketball, Jeff Cable Well, I tell you what, he's been really fixing his team up. Went out and got a bunch of graduate transfers, got some junior college players. He's going to have a different team this year. This transfer portal seems to really get into everybody. And I got to tell you this, Jordan Addison, who transferred from Pitt football to USC, is not real pleased right now with USC because he was promised certain things and he's not getting them. Okay. He's not getting them at all. So I don't know what has happened, but I do know he's not getting them. Okay. All right, we're at Studio A here at Studios 808, where we have all of our broadcasts here on Sports Corner. We're live through StreamYard. We're live here on YouTube and Facebook. We're here every Tuesday. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page as well. And don't forget, I'm on Wimkin, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all that. I'm all across social media. I broadcast on social media. National League 1, America nothing right now, and early in the first couple innings of the All-Star game. But Cable has landed he got a pledge from Carlton Charrington III, which is going to be part of his class of 2023. He is a forward, and we're going to see what he does. And he went out and he got a bunch of big guys. He went out and he got a mix of players, and we'll see what happens this year. This is the final year I think of his contract, or I think this is the year that Jeff Capel is going to have to perform. This team is going to have to do something because he's done nothing since he's been here. They haven't been to the NIT. They haven't even been to the NCAA. They haven't been to the toilet tournament or whatever. They haven't been to anything. Okay. So Jeff Capel's job, I believe, should be on the line. And if Heather Light, the athletic director, has any kind of a backbone, which I believe she don't, she would fire him. Should have fired him last year. Okay? And then I get all these excuses from everybody. Well, the transfer portal really did us in. What happened before that? Capel's been here 5 years. He hasn't done anything. 5 years. Okay? What more does he need? What do you think he needs to do? Comment section wide open. What do you think? Do you think that he shouldn't be put under the gun? Yes. He should be walking on eggshells. Sorry, I made a mistake. It's 2-0 National League right now. 2-0, second inning. All right. In the All-Star game. He has a 4-star athlete forward called Cohen Carr, who just received an offer from Pitt. So let's see what he does. Let's see what Jeff Capel does. All right? Because his job's on the line this year. And I think Lance White, the women's coach, his job's on the line this year. But the women's team, they did a little bit better this year. Lance White's had a couple bad years. All right? So we'll find out what happens with that. In other Pittsburgh sports, the Riverhounds tied Miami FC on July 9th, 1-1. This past Saturday, they played the New Mexico United, and they tied again 1-1. So it's been sort of a 1-1 2 weeks for the Riverhounds. All right, they play this Saturday at Highmark against Hartford, 7 p.m. start time. Bob Lilly and his team play over at Highmark Stadium. Duquesne football. Now get this now. Duquesne football has some tough sledding this year. The interesting thing about Duquesne football with Jerry Schmidt, they beat Ohio U last year. Don't sell Duquesne short now. Okay? But here's the 3 toughest games on their schedule. Okay? They play Florida State at Tallahassee. The second game, they play Youngstown State. Now, Youngstown State, I don't care who coaches that team, is never sad. They beat Pitt one time at Heinz Field. I watched it. I saw it. I worked there. I saw it. Okay? All right? It was the first game that Paul Christ coached, who now is the coach at Wisconsin. Okay? What I don't get is he couldn't recruit here, but Wisconsin, he's able to go, bowl games every year, almost to the national championship and things like that. Wisconsin doesn't seem to have a bad team. But then again, everybody gets into Badger football. They sell out their 100,000 seat stadium or whatever it is there. Pitt's lucky they draw 40,000 people. That's another story for another day because I don't feel like sitting here arguing with people about why Pitt don't have a stadium. Would you rather go to Heinz Field and watch a game, be able to park your car, or would you rather go to Oakland and not be able to park your car? Can you imagine what the way Oakland is and the way when it was years ago to go see these games? What would really be going on? All right. Next, their second game or their third game is, it's the third game is September 10th, and they play Thomas More at Rooney Field. But then the next week it gets even worse. Well, I don't know. They might beat this team because this team is sad and terrible. Farrod Graham was their coach. The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Okay, Hawaii was terrible. Todd Graham was their coach. And those of you who don't know who Farrod Graham was, he was a fraud. And he was once the coach at Pitt. Came in, was here for one season. Didn't like Pittsburgh. His wife kind of complained about a couple of things. And, there were a bunch of stuff going on. He claims it was Steve Peterson that drove him out. Well, of course, Steve Peterson drove out Dave Wannstedt, too, who I thought would be here as long as Joe Paterno was at Penn State. We got some news about Penn State. It's not good. Penn State's going to have, as I say, egg on their face. I tried to get somebody from PennLive.com to come on, but again, as I said earlier, nobody bothers to return my emails or my phone calls. How wonderful that is. Anyway, let's talk about some other other sports or other things going on nationally. Let's talk about the NFL here for a minute. Ex-Dallas Cowboy Marion Barber died of heat stroke. They did an autopsy on his body. He was only 27 years old, and he died of heat stroke. All right. Athletes, the interesting thing is here, I don't understand how he died of heat stroke. Athletes usually pretty good at taking care of their bodies and have a pretty good idea that heat stroke's something you don't want to deal with. Ryan Switzer. All right, here we go. There we are. Wave. Because that's all Ryan Switzer ever did when he was with the Steelers. He never returned a kick back at a decent time. He never took one back for a touchdown. He never did any of that. Okay? He was terrible. We gave up a fifth-round draft pick, and the Steelers are usually pretty good with fifth-round draft picks. Well, he was playing with Cleveland, and then he was supposedly hurt, and then they put him on the practice squad last year, so now he's retired. Good. I'm glad. He can go, he can do some waving, somewhere else. I mean, I'm not trying to be ignorant or nothing, and I know his kid had his kid had some health problems. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad that his kid perhaps got through some of them. I hope he did. But, he didn't perform when he was with the Steelers. That's a simple fact. All right. Now, speaking of Cleveland, Cleveland has to be one of the biggest jokes of a franchise. Okay. All around. All right. Kevin Stefanski is a joke. Okay. Last year, he thought his doo-doo didn't stink. Okay. Because what had happened was he thought, well, we're predicted to go to the Super Bowl. So I think that my team is better than everybody else's. Kevin, did anybody ever tell you that that's only a prediction? Okay. Well, it didn't happen. They fell apart like they always do. Okay. Now they traded away Baker Mayfield and they got Deshaun Watson. Now the suspension hasn't been handed down yet. So now Cleveland's in a panic. They have to go out and try to find another quarterback. And they have former Steeler quarterback Josh Dobbs and Jacoby Brissett on their team. So now Cleveland is stuck with them two, and they're going out looking for somebody. I don't know. Josh Dobbs probably could work out for them. He's a smart kid. He has degrees in engineering. He knows how to do reading blitzes and stuff. He should. I mean, because when you have a degree in engineering, you should be smart enough to understand football, and he does. He's like me. I never got the breaks in broadcasting that others have. I was never that lucky. Okay? All right? And there are people out here now, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, that have horrible voices and they're horrible personalities on the radio. Okay? But they have these nice high price paying broadcasting jobs. All right? But they got lucky or they knew somebody, because back in the day you had to know somebody to get a job. Nowadays, nobody wants to help nobody get a job. And I'll tell you why, because they're afraid you're going to take their job. That's been like that for years now. All right? So, here we are, Jacoby Brissett, Josh Dobbs, quarterbacks for the Browns, and I don't feel a bit sorry for him either. And they're out looking for another quarterback. All right. Buffalo Bills are pursuing former Steeler Joe Hayden. I said this on my TV version with Smoke and Jim Frazier this month on PCTV channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon. We're on every Saturday at 5 p.m. We do our live call-in every first Thursday of the month. And I got to tell you, I said this to Smoke and Jim, that I think the Steelers should bring Joe Hayden back on the cheap. And I think Joe Hayden may do so. They have $21 million. They need an experienced leadership guy like Joe Hayden. But they can't pay Joe Hayden all this money. They need to pay him on the cheap. Bring him in. He could be a veteran presence. Okay? And then not only be a veteran presence, but also help you out on special teams and maybe as a backup. But he doesn't have nowhere near the skill now at his age. He's slowed down, He doesn't have that kind of stuff, all right? Indy Colts, looking at the following three receivers. And I don't know if they have enough salary cap, and I should have looked into this. But they're looking at Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, and T.Y. Hilton all at one time. They want to really load up on offense. And Frank Reich, in case those of you who don't know, the head coach of the Indy Colts, used to be the backup quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. He was involved in the 4 Super Bowls that they lost. He was the backup to Jim Kelly. Okay? So Frank Reich knows offense. He's a good quarterback coach, more or less. Now he's a head coach. Indy's underperformed a little bit under him. But, of course, no one expected Luck to step down or to retire. Andrew Luck. No one thought that was going to happen. Okay? So then he got stuck with a bunch of guys the Jacoby Brissetts and some of these other guys that have been in and out and through the shuffle with Indy. Well, now he has a good quarterback, an experienced one in Matt Ryan. And you know what? Phillip Rivers was with the Colts. And, he was with the Chargers, who are now the LA Chargers. At the time when he was there, they were the San Diego Chargers, and he was with them for about a year or two with LA. And then he was with the Colts, and then he retired. Okay. Poor Phillip Rivers, he didn't get an opportunity to get a Super Bowl like Ben and Eli in the draft class. All right. But anyway, he has Matt Ryan there now. And Matt Ryan was with Atlanta. Now, Atlanta, of course, as you know, has a new coach, Arthur Smith. First year was last year, former offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans. Okay? All right? Which we were going to talk with Clayton TRUTOR about tonight. All right? So the Falcons now, all right, they're stuck in the middle of a pickle because they got rid of Matt Ryan. They traded him away and got extra draft picks in the draft. All right. They have Desmond Ridder on their team. They drafted him in like the 4th or 5th round. And I don't know who else they have down there. It's too bad. I mean, because Arthur Smith might have another tough year this year. Well, we'll find out. It takes time to build a team. People think Rome was built in a day, and it never was. All right, let's talk about NCAA football, and then we're going to get into the Penn State thing here. And there's another incident involving the football program, and I don't know. I never thought this would ever happen again, but it did. I'll tell you about it in a few. NCAA football. Troy Bowles, son of Tampa Bay head coach Todd Bowles, who everyone thinks is going to win a Super Bowl this year. Okay. I had Leo Haggerty on with me last Tuesday, and he told me, he says, nobody, he had a bad Jets team, and he didn't get the support he needed. But he's been working under some coaches now, and I think Todd Bowles is going to be okay, but I don't think he's going to go to the Super Bowl. But his son is being recruited by the Georgia Bulldogs. So that's great. Kirby Smart's the coach down in Georgia, and, so baseball. Fox had to issue an apology. Now listen to this. It's still 2-0 in the second. National League. American League's up to bat right now. Oh no, they're in the National League's up to bat. All right. And baseball, Fox had to issue an apology because of a inappropriate shot on TV. Okay. The inappropriate shot had to do with 9/11. Somehow, some way, they showed New York, and they showed the tape of 9/11 of the planes crashing into the World Trade Center. So Fox had to issue an apology and that is inappropriate. I mean, they were showing the situation where they had, with that, and being it was in New York, and it was New York against the Red Sox, that's always a big rivalry. So, but anyway, so that happened Saturday night, so they had to issue an apology. NHL, other news, former broadcaster, Penguins coach and national hockey broadcaster, Ed Olczyk, was working with the Chicago Blackhawks on their team. I heard there was a contract dispute, and he stepped down. So, I don't know. Ed Olczyk was a bad coach here, but he was a good broadcaster. But the problem I had with Ed Olczyk was just like I had the problem I have with Chris Collinsworth and everybody else, Phil Simms and all these other guys who hate the Steelers. It's the same thing with Ed Olczyk and the Penguins because he got fired when he was the coach here. Okay. And now every time he's on there, he badmouths the Pens. And he did it for years. That's why he was not a national broadcaster anymore. All right. It was so bad they had him doing horse racing. So what I'm trying to tell you is that now he has stepped away because of money. He wanted more money. He didn't like the contract they wanted to give him. So there we are. Okay. So maybe Ed Olczyk can go work at a Starbucks and serve coffee or bag groceries at a grocery store or push carts around, whatever. Nothing wrong with those jobs. At least you work, but maybe that's what he can do, being, a lot of retirees go into that kind of work, keep themselves busy and keep themselves fit and in shape, and they're not bored. Okay. All right. That is it for my national sports news, but I have one thing to say, and that's Penn State. Penn State is in the doghouse again. You would have thought Penn State would have learned about the Jerry Sandusky thing. And in closing tonight, I have some information for you about Penn State that's going to blow your socks off. And the reason I say it's going to blow your socks off is because I'm not real pleased right now with the situation as to what's going on up there. Because there was just this big thing about a petition and about this and that, about the Joe Paterno statue, about that and you know what? I never liked Joe Paterno. I never did. I never liked him. Okay. I thought he was an arrogant kraut who, was a good coach at Penn State, and Penn State was always good and they always beat Pitt. And I was a big Pitt fan. Okay. I still am. I still love Pitt. Okay. But what I'm saying to you is this: Penn State thought they were superior with the Sandusky case, and they got off. At first, they were suspended. They had all these sanctions, and then they went and they did. They cry like a little baby. The sanctions are hurting our team, and we can't win game. Go to boy, it's not fair. So after 3 or 4 years, and Bill O'Brien, who was the former coach of the Houston Texans and former offensive coordinator and coach with New England, was their head coach at the time. So Bill O'Brien got stuck with that during the sanction time. They couldn't go to a bowl game. They couldn't participate. The recruiting suffered, things like that. Then James Franklin came in. He hired Terry Smith from Gateway. He hired Greg Schiano at one point. Okay. And now he's got Manny Diaz up there as a defensive coordinator, former Miami head coach. Okay. Now there's another problem. There's been some kind of sexual assault or some kind of sexual thing going on in a locker room. Okay. And what I read on social media about this is that a lot of people are saying that James Franklin has never taken control of his locker room since he's been here with Penn State. Well, there's something wrong here then, if he's not controlling his locker room. Okay. So apparently now there's a federal investigation into this, a federal like a lawsuit involved here, because Penn State had to lay an egg again and let their student athletes do whatever they want. And that's what James Franklin's doing. Okay. So now, the bleep hit the fan again at Penn State. Just when they were getting ready to put back up the Joe Paterno statue, we have controversy and drama and another sexual thing that is, not for sure. People do lie. Lawsuits are the number one way of making money in this country. We all know about that. Okay. So here we are. Penn State's at it again. They're at it again. James Franklin just got an extension on his contract. And now he might have to step down because this falls on him. This falls on James Franklin. And that's fine. Continue to sell the stadium out. Continue to say, oh, Penn State's this great program. Really? Really? Pitt hasn't had a controversy since the late 80s. Some stuff with Mike Gottfried, Paul Hackett. Other than that, there really wasn't anything else. Okay? So here we go. Penn State has another problem. And it involves the football program. Jerry Sandusky molested boys. And now we got players molesting girls right in the locker room. And James Franklin didn't do anything about it. And now they're being sued and there's a federal investigation. You know what, Penn State? You'll never learn. And that's my closing rant for tonight. Ralph's rant. My closing one. Thank you for watching Sports Corner. You can catch the archive version on my YouTube page, on my YouTube channel. And please subscribe. Also like my Facebook page as well. Don't forget Monday nights here live on YouTube and Facebook is the way I see it with me, Ralph Williams, Pittsburgh's Forgotten Son. Also, don't forget on Thursday nights at 8 p.m., every Thursday at 8 p.m., Blog Talk Radio, 347-205-9631. We have Wrestle Talk with me, Mark Mancini, and Smokin' Jim Frazier. We have some stuff to talk about this Thursday in regards to wrestling. Also, I want you to know, Pittsburgh, I'm going to satisfy your wrestling craving because coming in September, I'm doing a wrestling podcast and a TV show as well, both titled Talking Wrestling. I'm back on. I did a show or two here. I'm trying to get some of the local independent wrestling people. If you're out there and you know these guys who run these organizations of local independent wrestling, you can do me a favor and have them reach out to me on Facebook, okay, or my email, ralphwilliams737@gmail.com. Okay. Appreciate you watching tonight. Thank you. And it's been another edition of Sports Corner with me, Ralph Williams, Pittsburgh's Forgotten Son. And you all, everybody have a good night and be safe.